Theme song. Welcome to the slam. Welcome to the jam. Get ready to podcast because it's Space Jam, y'all. And that was my horrible rendition of Space Jam.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Our Dads Are Brothers, a TV and movie review podcast. I'm Nathan Tracy along with my co-host.
I'm Bat Tracy, and today we are talking about baseball movies.
Scratch that. Basketball movies.
Wait, basketball?
Basketball. Erase all your notes. I
Oh
guess
my
I'll take care
God.
of this one.
Yes, basketball movies. I watched a lot of them.
Good. So did I. Well, I didn't watch as many as I would have liked, but
I happened to watch Benchwarmers a couple nights ago, and I came up with that joke.
nice.
Yeah.
So in case you're wondering with my voice, I'm a little sick.
Are you
I'm
down with the sickness?
I'm down with the sickness. That's what I do when I sneeze. I go, ooh, ah. I'm just kidding. What have you been watching besides basketball movies?
I've been continuing on with Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm finally on the season where Robert gets married to Amy. And I gotta say, Robert Barone is my favorite character because I can relate to him a lot.
Yeah.
He's tall, he's depressed, and he lives with his parents.
It's also played by a great actor. So,
Yeah.
did you know that the actress who plays Amy is the director's wife?
Yeah. Did you know that Raymond's kids, Raymond and Deborah's, they're all three related in real life, the twins and the sister. And
Very cool.
one of the
Doesn't
twins is
surprise
dead.
me. I knew that. So it's sad. I'm almost done with Friends. I'm so close.
Are you on season 9?
Season 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because it went for 10, right?
Did you know about that one? Yes, 10 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, almost done. Don't know what's next. I might actually talk my wife into watching Ozarks again.
I've never seen it.
She's not seen it. I've seen the first 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
I want to rewatch the first 3 before season 4.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Also, I haven't watched this yet, but this Sunday, AEW's newest pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, is coming up, and it's CM Punk challenging for the world title. I'm gonna be watching that.
Very cool.
It's gonna be fun. Feel free to come over. But
Are
I
you
know
telling me or the listener?
I'm telling you, but
Okay.
it would break your 0.1% of wrestling per year or whatever.
No, it might fit in just on par. You're asking the listeners, come on by, just bring some pizza and beer.
Exactly, and some nachos,
Exactly. Yeah. Oh,
Doritos,
anything you'd have at a basketball game. So
and
nachos.
waffles.
There's no waffles at basketball games.
There could be.
There should be.
We could open a business where we cook waffles for people at a basketball.
We'll call it breakfast everywhere.
I love it.
Because we need breakfast everywhere.
Oh wait, we call it Breakfast USA because then we get all the Patriots and stuff.
Perfect. All right, well then I'm just going to give our email. It's ourdadsourbrothers@gmail.com. Hit us up with any comments, reviews, questions. Just say, hey, anything you want to do, just send us an email. Today is May 26th. Today we have Helena Bonham Carter, John Wayne, Pam Grier, Peter Cushing, Matt Stone, and Bobcat Goldthwait.
So we got some heavy hitters here because Bobcat Goldthwait, we talked about him in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Matt Stone, one of the creators of South Park. Peter Cushing, he's in 1,000 movies and he's in Star Wars. Pam Grier is Jackie Brown. John Wayne is a cowboy.
The Duke.
Helena Bonham Carter's in a lot of weird stuff.
How about we highlight Helena Bonham Carter?
I would love to.
She is 56 today. Born in London, England. It's our first highlighted guest from across the pond.
Worldwide reach of this podcast will be infinite.
That's right. Looks like we 2 fun facts. I got one. She lived with her parents until she was in her early 30s because she had a good relationship with them.
Wow. Sounds like someone I know.
Sounds fun.
Did you know that she accidentally perforated the eardrum of Matthew Lewis, the actor who portrays Neville Longbottom, because she stuck her wand in his ear canal?
On purpose?
It was
Just
accidentally.
Like, hey, just walk up and be like, you ate the last donut.
Oh, she hit my brain. Helena's, I think, most well known from a few things in particular. She's Marla's singer in Fight Club. Have you seen Fight Club?
I have not.
It is a very, very good movie. She's Mrs. Dolly Lovett in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. She's Bellatrix Lestrange in Harry Potter 5 through 8, the last four. And then she's also the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass, which is not as good as the first, I think. Have you seen those?
I've seen Alice in Wonderland and the Harry Potters.
Alice in Wonderland is pretty good. I really like that movie.
I've only seen the first one, but
the second one is not very good. The first one has Crispin Glover in it. I like him.
She was also married to Tim Burton, as you might wonder, why is she in so many Tim Burton movies? It's because she was married to the guy. From 2001 to 2014, I believe.
Oh, so that's why Johnny Depp was in so many Tim Burton movies, because they were married.
All right, is that all we have for the highlighted birthday?
I think so.
All right.
Let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. It's sports, baby.
Yeah, let's get into this. Basketball. Some of my favorite basketball words. The give and go.
Can I tell you my my two favorite basketball words?
Please.
Hoops and hops.
Hoops and hops.
Hoops and hops, which is in my heart of hearts the name of this episode. I just want to say, yeah, just right here, right in this little locked box with a key, and the key hangs from my neck.
All right, the first movie we're going to talk about is actually a 7-minute short film from 1946. Thought we'd start out with the OG. It's called Double Dribble.
Oh, okay. Do you know who directed this one?
Yeah, Jack Hanna.
No way, the animal
No, not that Jack Hanna.
Oh.
Yeah, the other Jack Hanna.
You got me excited. I was going to be like, wait, are there iguanas in this?
No, it's actually a Goofy short film. There's actually probably a couple thousand Goofy characters.
Yeah, actually, I don't mean to lead you on. I did watch this one.
So did I.
Yeah, because there's a funny story behind it. You watched 3 basketball movies in a row, I believe. And then I texted you, I was like, yeah, I actually just watched one. And then you're like, which one? And I said Double Dribble. And you were like, wait, you watched a 7-minute short film while I watched like 3 full-length movies? And I was like, yeah, my bad. This was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. A lot of chuckle moments, for sure.
I've watched a lot of the Goofy like instructional like tapes on Disney Plus. Like I really love The Art of Skiing. It's one of my favorites, but this was very good.
Opening scene zooms in towards the court and 2 Goofies light up cigarettes. I thought that was quite an old thing that you won't see in a new Disney movie.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I thought the animation was very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was funny. Every time they did the tip off, they'd throw the ball up and the 2 would jump up and they just like slap box. They just slap the crap out of each other like 100 times. And then one of them gets the ball.
I liked the bit at the beginning when he was sitting in the stands.
Yeah, I think it's funny when he went for the free throw and he's a little too over the line and the ref goes, hey, watch your feet. And he like shoots at the ground and shoots 2 bullet holes and he backs up.
I'll be honest, I did not pay as close attention to this one as you did because I put it on for 7 minutes and went, okay.
I give it 5 stars and I paid attention.
I'd give it 4 stars. I had fun with it.
That's because you didn't pay attention. You would have given 5 stars.
My brother watched it with me too.
Oh, so you were distracted.
Maybe particularly a little bit.
All right, the next movie we're going to get right into is Slam Dunk Ernest from 1995. This
one's directed by John R. Cherry III.
Did you watch many Ernest movies as a kid?
Not really as a kid. I didn't see any until I was maybe a teenager, and I've only seen a handful of them.
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure John R. Cherry III did most of them.
Yeah. He's directed at least all the ones I've seen.
This movie's about Ernest. Everyone knows Ernest. He's on a
Ernest P.
janitorial squad, and they clean the mall. The mall closes when they're supposed to clean. They pull out a basketball hoop and have fun, just playing hoops and hopping. There you go.
Hoops and hops.
So then the rest of the team was like, "Hey, let's join a league and whatnot, and win a championship or something." I don't know.
What were they winning?
Well, at the end, which I don't think they started with this, but it was the chance to play an NBA team. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the one guy's like telling his kid.
Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets, I believe they played.
Yeah, because the one guy was like telling his kid, he's like, "Hey kid, you don't steal stuff because I'm gonna get back in the NBA. You watch," even though he's clearly like a 40-year-old man and
Yeah,
they would not hire him. But
yeah,
then at the end of the movie, he's like, "Hey son, check this out. I am back in the NBA." It was pretty good. I would give
yeah.
this 4 out of 5 stars.
Overall,
Yeah,
I gave it a.
you're like I give this 17 out of 10.
I think I give it a 1 or 2 star overall. I did rate it as an Ernest film. I thought it was a 4 as an Ernest film.
Wait, so as a real movie, you think it's only a 1 or a 2?
2. Maybe with 3 with Kareem. The fact Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not much
That's
of an Ernest fan. Ernest is uh,
okay.
an acquired taste, and he's not my cup of tea.
Okay. I, on the other hand, am a pretty big fan of Ernest. I think
Nice.
Jim Varney is a fantastic actor, and
I
I
agree.
I
I
really
agree.
like a lot of his work. He's Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies movie. He's the
Nice.
voice of Slinky Dog in the first Toy Story before he died. He's great.
Yeah, I just think some of his humor is a little too quirky. Just like
Yeah.
it's geared for children.
He's in some movie, I think it's called like Snowboard Academy or something.
One funny quote I find from one of the commentators talking about uh, the NBA team playing some city league crappy team. He goes,
hmm
"The NBA hates the streets, and I'll be there with bells on." I just thought that was random and funny.
I really liked the plot of this one, where he gets the magic shoes because it led to some comical moments. The shoes, they're trying to like drag him all over the place, and he's having a hard time driving because he's trying to press the clutch and he's only moving like an inch at a time.
Right.
And yeah, it was very, very comedic, I think, even though it was shot like a TV movie.
Right. Oh, it sure was. One last funny quote I have is one lady asks, "Will I make lots of money?" And the other guy goes, "Yes, very expensive money."
Human monies. So did you
Right.
know the guy in at the beginning of Slam Dunk Ernest? He's the voodoo chicken guy from Scooby Doo, the live
Oh,
action Scooby
yes.
Doo.
Yes.
Miguel Nunez Jr., I think is his name. He's in
Yeah,
tons of stuff, but
he's been in at least 3 or 4 basketball movies when I was looking through all these movies.
yeah. But I just wanted to mention that we like the monies. You know what else we
Speaking
like?
of the minis,
The Minis from 2007, directed by Valerio Zanoli. I hope I'm saying that right.
yeah, it looks right.
All right, so the Minis is about a team of little people who are playing basketball, and they're like, "We're gonna join this tournament, but there's no way we can win because we're so short. We need somebody to help us." And so they get Dennis the Rodman Rodman. Do you,
The
do you
worm?
do you know why they call him the Rodman?
No.
Because his last name is Rodman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so they get him to join their team, and he's like up front, "I don't want to do this." And then they're like, "Oh no, what happened to him? Something happened where he got roped into it, and his lawyer or something, his agent's like, you should
He
do
saw it
this
as
for
a
publicity."
he saw it as a huge publicity stunt. He was thinking coasters,
Yeah.
cups. Like he was like, let's make this a big thing. Diapers, even he pitched at one point in time.
Yeah, and so Dennis Rodman joins the team, and he leads the Minis to victory, but then to spoil the ending. Did you finish this one or no?
I started paying less attention towards the end, but yes.
Okay. He fakes an injury to his knee and he's like, "Oh, guys, I can't do this." And they're like, "What do we do without you?" And he's like, "You guys can do this." And then they win. And then he's like, "I'm the Rod Man. I'm just kidding. I didn't even get hurt. I was just playing because, like, you had the win inside of you at all times."
I thought it was a horrible movie.
Did you?
No, it started, it was like funny and it was okay. And then it just got worse and worse.
Okay, what out of 5 stars, what would you give this?
I think a 3 still, but
Okay,
yeah,
that's
it
not too
wasn't like
far off.
yeah, it wasn't a horrible movie across the board. Like, but it did get worse the longer it went.
I am gonna give this 4 stars.
Okay,
For some odd reason, really enjoyed this movie.
but as the listeners will soon to find out, you love bad movies, so
I
that's
really do.
fine. I mean, the fact that you ranked Ernest a 5, no offense to anyone or Ernest,
I gave
or
Ernest a 4.
you said 5.
I gave it a 4.
Play it back later. I'm pretty sure you said 5.
All right, we'll play it back.
Not right now. We're just like, all right, hold on.
So some things I really liked about the minis. since I liked this more than you apparently. I really liked the beginning of the with the stuck ball. I know you mentioned that when you told me to watch it, where the ball gets stuck and then he spends like 30 seconds just trying to knock it down with a leaf.
Yeah.
But there's also one part later on where the main character is talking to some lady, and she goes, "Did I ever tell you I'm from Paris?" And he goes, "France?" And she responds, "No, Paris, Texas." And he goes, "Oh, I thought I heard an English accent." And she says, "That's a Texan accent, silly."
I remember that scene. It's slightly wrong, but that's fine.
Then there's a part where Dennis Rodman's in the limo and they're like, "Hey, can you be our coach or maybe play ball with us?" And he's like, "Yo, I'm being punked for real. Where's Ashton Kutcher?" And then there's a part where the producer or the agent guy, he's like pitching all these ideas for what the minis can do. And he's like, "We could do a mini series, a mini series." And then the one guy on the team goes, "A short film?" And he goes, "Ah."
uh,
I wrote the training montage was amazing. I thought it was really funny where like the one guy was doing the pull-ups and the other guy's like lifting the smaller weights in the background. And then I said after the photo shoot, the movie kind of stops being about basketball for a while.
yeah.
Like it just turned into like friendship drama where they're like, are they gonna become friends again or whatever?
That's probably when it started falling off for me.
Yeah,
Is that it for the minis?
yeah.
All right, the next movie. I was looking for a movie to watch. This is the first one I watched. I was looking for something that everyone's heard of. Then I saw this one. I was like, I've never heard of this. It's
I've
called
never heard of it either.
Yeah, it's called Hoovey from 2015, directed by Sean McNamara, which I'm pretty sure he's done some work on a lot of Disney TV movies.
I was gonna say his name looks familiar to me.
Yeah, he's got some Disney stars in this. Allison Stoner and Cody Lindley and I believe Brandon Smith. They've all been on some Disney stuff here and there.
Allison Stoner, we talked about during Cheaper by the Dozen.
We did. And I noticed this movie, it's got Patrick Warburton in it. Love him.
I love that guy.
There's one scene with Stephen Baldwin as the pastor. I saw him and I was like roped in. All right, here we go.
Speaking of Stephen Baldwin, Biodome 2 might be happening finally.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is based on true story. It's kind of a sappy movie about this kid who they find out he has a tumor in his head and he's on a high school basketball team and he can't play anymore.
Shit.
You take one blow and you're dead type of thing.
Oh, fuck.
And so he trains himself to get back good enough to play and he starts playing.
Huh.
Early in the movie, a girl asks him, "Why are you named Hoovey?" He says, "I got my arm stuck in a Hoover vacuum cleaner when I was 3. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, when you told me about this, like just the name of it, because it's Hoovey, a funny title.
Yeah.
And you said Patrick Warburton's, and I went, "Oh, it's a funny basketball movie." And I looked it up, and by the poster, I went, "Oh, this is a drama."
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a crier, and I cried during this movie.
When I asked you about it, you texted me, "Hoovey was great. I give it 4 stars. I cried."
Yep, I think the whole movie was a Carhartt product placement. I saw so many Carhartt logos. Patrick Warburton plays an amazing firefighter. I'll throw that out there.
Patrick Warburton looks like he could be a fireman in real life.
Oh yeah. One funny quote I had: the daughter, she's in running for high school, cross country.
Okay.
And she says, "Dad, I want to stop running." He goes, "Well, you need to finish the season. The team's relying on you." And she goes, "Fine, but maybe after that I'll just run away." And he goes, "Well, that's a lot of running for somebody that doesn't want to run anymore."
That's pretty good.
Yeah, she storms off, and then later she's like, "That was a good joke. I laughed about it."
Damn.
Yeah, so overall, good movie.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Honestly, it has a funny title, but it's not something I want to watch.
That's okay.
I like watching movies with funny titles, though. Well, I got one to tell you about.
Okay.
So this is from 1996, and it's Celtic Pride, directed by Tom DeCerio. I don't know how you say it, but it's DeCerio. And this one, I think you maybe have seen it or at least heard about it. It's got Dan Aykroyd, Daniel Stern, and Damon Wayans. And it's basically like Damon Wayans is a Utah Jazz NBA player, and he's very, very good. And Daniel Stern and Dan Aykroyd play a couple of Boston Celtics fans. And they love the Celtics so much it makes their buttholes hurt. Basically, they end up kidnapping Damon Wayans' character so he can't play in the NBA Finals against Celtics so they can win the first championship game in like 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, I seen it when I was younger. I remember it being good.
Yeah.
It was co-written, produced, and screenplay all done by Judd Apatow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact for you.
I love Judd Apatow's work.
Most people should. Sorry, everyone should.
Most people should. They all should.
most most people should like Judd Apatow. Do you have any facts about Celtic Pride or thoughts?
It's a very fun movie. I just like it's maybe not great. I don't know. I've never looked up reviews for it, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's a weird movie. I just love the plot of it because I love movies that have to do with like kidnapping someone and it's funny and like there's parts where they handcuff his feet and his hands and he's like I gotta go to the bathroom and then so they let him in there and he does a little hop to the bathroom. It's very funny. Just little moments like that. And there's another cop character in it who lets them get away with the kidnapping. And I just really like the actor who plays him, who I can't remember his name right now, but it's a very, very fun movie. And Daniel Stern, he is also in Home Alone, as you may know.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, very fun actor. So yeah, I just really like this movie. I've liked it ever since I was a kid.
So I just looked it up, and it has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It has an 8% critic score.
That is correct.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. So I'm part of the 8%.
Well, there you go.
Next up, we have Air Bud from 1997, directed by Charles Martin Smith. And Air Bud's just a fantastic movie about do I even need to explain it? Everybody knows Air Bud. It's a dog that plays basketball.
Yeah.
And so I haven't seen this movie since I was a little child. And I remembered really liking it. And it turns out it was pretty good. Really good. I really enjoyed it. It's got the guy who plays the sad, angry clown. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he also is in Jurassic Park 3, which I really like his character in that. And I think he's a good actor.
Michael Jeter.
Yes, that is his name. This movie is a lot sadder than I remember. Like, I knew it was sad because it's like, oh, the dad died and he gets the dog or whatever, and then he has to give it back to the clown. But watching this movie, the entire time, it is sad up until the end. Like, this would bum you out as a kid.
Yeah. But I liked it as a kid, so I don't know.
I did too. So I haven't seen this movie in over a decade, probably over 15 years. I remembered most of it, and I have a funny story about my dad, your dad's brother. He came down while I was watching it and watched a couple scenes with me, and he was like, "It's weird how I haven't seen this probably since you were a little kid, and I remember all of it." And I was like, "Yeah, I thought the same thing."
Right.
I thought this was really cool. Right before the credits start, there's a thing, like text comes on screen that says, no special effects were used in any of the basketball scenes for this movie. So I think they really trained a dog to do that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Crazy. And he wears the little basketball shoes on his feet. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, and his number was K9.
Yep. Which, speaking of K9, you ever seen that movie?
No.
It's got it's Jim Belushi with a dog who's a partner. His partner is a cop. I want to look up what Air Bud has on Rotten Tomatoes.
40, 45.
I think it deserves better than that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
It has a 38% audience score. That's even crazier. Maybe
Get out of here.
maybe it is because it's sad. I'm gonna read more. Let me look into this for a second. I'm sorry to take up time. This is a 1.5-star rating from 2010. I don't understand why people think of basketball playing dogs entertaining. It's impossible for a dog to play in the first place, although the movie tries to make it seem feasible. Overall, I hated this movie.
Wow. The next movie is a Disney movie based on a true story, or
This-
at least loosely.
I believe this is a Disney Channel original movie, is it not?
Most likely from 2002, Double Teamed,
A Disney Channel original movie, a DCOM.
directed by Dwayne Dunham.
So I think I remember watching this as a kid because they're twin sisters, right?
Yeah, two tall blondes.
Okay, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
remember it very well, but I know I've seen it.
Yeah, they're in high school on the volleyball team, and then their dad was talking to another parent, and the dad was saying, "Oh, you should transfer schools. They'll have a better chance of getting a scholarship." So he pulls some strings and gets to move to another school, and while they're there, one goes to the gym, and the basketball coach notices how tall she is and was like, "Hey, you should play basketball." And she's like, no thanks. And then slowly they begin to, and then they become really good, and then it's all basketball from there.
Okay. This was on Disney Plus, right?
Yes.
Okay. I might have to watch this again.
They were twins. Not the
Hmm.
actresses, but they played twins. They did a really good job at casting twins when they weren't twins.
That is pretty cool.
I wrote here in my notes, no real notes, just twin jokes. LOL. Like one time, a guy asked the dad, "How'd you tell them apart?" He said, "Easy. Heidi gives me a migraine."
All right, did you have anything else for Double Teamed?
I do not. Besides, it
I,
sounds like it could be a porn.
it does sound like it could be a porn.
Yeah, I told my wife, I was like, I'm watching a movie about two blonde chicks. It's called Double Teamed. It's a Disney movie. Well,
Hmm.
tonight, Double Teamed. Uh-oh. Too
Kids, you're
late.
not watching Disney Channel tonight.
Go to your room.
You're grounded. What do we do? Go sleep in the basement. Next up, a personal favorite of my childhood. This is from 1996. This is Space Jam, directed by Joe Pytka. Everybody knows Space Jam. It's got the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, those guys.
Yep.
And it's got Michael Jordan, of all people, playing basketball with the Toon Squad against the Monstars.
It's got Wayne Knight too, doesn't it?
It does have Wayne Knight. Wayne Knight plays Michael Jordan's assistant, and
Yep.
Danny DeVito plays the guy he's in charge of the Monstars. And basically, if anyone doesn't know what this is about is Michael Jordan retired from basketball and now he's playing baseball. So this also works as a baseball movie, except not really because there's only one scene. The Looney Tunes, they bully these little alien things that are sent to Earth by Danny DeVito's character to kidnap the Looney Tunes. And so the little guys, they go and steal the talent from the best NBA players in the league. One of them who is Charles Barkley, and one who's the really short guy whose name is slipping, Bugsy Mogs. So they steal their talent, and then they turn into these really giant alien creatures who are really good at basketball, and they're called the Monstars. And so the Looney Tunes take Michael Jordan. They're like, "Hey, play ball with us," and he does, and they win. And there's a really good part that I love where part of the game they do a timeout and Bill Murray runs in and he's like la da 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 da, and then it cuts to Danny DeVito's character and he goes, "Wait a second, I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture."
That's great.
It's my favorite joke in the whole movie. But yeah, this one's best known. I think it introduces Lola Rabbit as the Bugs Bunny female counterpart. And I think it's got some really, really good jokes. I love all the Looney Tunes stuff, but half this movie could be cut out. Like, it's only 76 minutes long, I'm pretty sure, but there's a lot of fluff in it. Like the therapy scenes with the basketball players and where they're lost and they can't shoot hoops and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's really slow moving and kind of boring. So whenever I watch this nowadays, I just watch the basketball part.
I mean, to be honest, that's all that sticks out in my head. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I remember the basketball part, the golf scene. That's where they found the
Mhm.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, there's a really funny part where Wayne Knight, it's after Michael Jordan gets sucked down in the golf hole,
Mhm.
hole. Wayne Knight's like digging up the golf hole trying to get to him, and this old guy comes up and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm fixing a divot." And then the old guy turns around, turns to his wife, and goes, "He's fixing a divot." So I really like Space Jam, though it's got its parts that I think could be skippable. So
Yeah.
I'd give it 4 stars for nostalgia.
And how was LeBron James in the second one?
Space Jam 2: A New Legacy,
Yes.
directed by Malcolm D. Lee. This movie sucks.
I have not seen it.
It is fucking garbage.
That's so unfortunate because the hype was there.
Dude, it's so bad. Like, LeBron's not as charismatic as Michael Jordan was, and the whole storyline is that his son wants to play video games, but he's like, "You need to play basketball and be just like me." And he's like, "But Dad, I don't want to." And then so he plays with the Looney Tunes, but his kid plays with the other team, who the villain of the movie's Algae Rhythm, who's an algorithm who takes over Warner Brothers and wants to destroy Warner Brothers from the inside out or some shit like that. It's a terrible movie, dude. There's
Oh, probably not watch it.
there's one really, really good joke in it though. And this is a spoiler. I think it's the biggest spoiler I can tell for this movie. So if you do want to see this, skip 30 seconds in the future. There's one part where they're talking about getting Michael Jordan back for like the big basketball game. They're like, "Oh my God, we did this before. Let's get Michael Jordan." And then one of the characters shows him. He's like, "Guys, I did it. I got Michael Jordan." And they open the door, and Michael B. Jordan, the actor, walks through. Dude, it's great. But that's literally the only really good part.
It'd be really funny if you told them to skip 30 seconds, and then they did, and then it was the punchline. That would have been hilarious. Do you have any more basketball movies to talk about?
I have so many basketball movies that'll make your ears bleed.
Okay.
I
Well, I
watched
don't want that
one.
to happen.
I watched one from 1994. It's called The Air Up There. It was directed by Paul Michael Glazer. And this one stars Kevin Bacon. And he was basically like a college basketball coach. He used to play basketball himself, but he blew out his knee and he couldn't play anymore. He was going to go pro. Like guys always say that I could have gone pro, but he blew out his knee and he sees this. He's watching this like short documentary film, like a home film that was shot in Africa. And he sees this really tall kid in the background playing basketball. And so he actually travels to Africa to recruit this kid to play basketball. But it turns out the kid is the son of the king of the tribe that he's in. And so he has to really convince his family to join him. And how he does it is at the end, he joins the native people of the tribe that he's in in a basketball game against this tycoon who's trying to take over the tribe. And I liked it. It has a really low rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
Nice. I like Kevin Bacon, so I assume it would be okay.
I also really like Kevin Bacon.
And the next movie we're going to go on to is called Glory Road. It came out in 2006, directed by James Gardner. It's a Disney movie about a true story. It's one of those sappy sports movies like Miracle or Invincible.
Remember the Titans?
Exactly. That's based in 1965, at least that's where the story starts. This high school girls basketball coach gets to move up to a college, an NCAA college team. They're not doing so hot in El Paso. They were the Miners. He asked, what kind of budget do we have? I need to build a winning team. They told him, like, well, not much. So he went all across the country, Detroit, New York, Harlem, like in New York, essentially, and found a bunch of African-American players that all took him as a joke at first. And they said, you're not going to keep me on the sidelines. You're not going to just get me and bench me like everyone else does. And he's like, no, you're gonna start. You're playing. So he built this team of primarily African-American players. And they actually went undefeated until the last game and then won the championship. One note I had is, yes, I get it's based on a true story, but
Okay.
they use the N-word with a hard R at the end in this movie.
That's crazy because this is Disney, right?
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. So I heard that. I even rewound it and put on subtitles just to be like, did I hear that right?
What is this rated? Do you know? Was it PG or PG-13? It's rated PG.
And then later in the movie, there's also Confederate flags in the stands. Everyone's waving them back and forth. I mean, I get it. It's showing how bad racism really was, but I just thought it was for Disney to do and to leave on Disney Plus and everything.
It's kind of like Remember the Titans, which also has a fair bit of racism in it, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's a football movie. We can't talk about it. All right.
And I thought it was really cool. So the main actor, he was playing Don Haskins, the coach, and the true Don Haskins was in the movie for one scene when he pulled up to a gas station, and the guy goes, he's like the attendant at the gas station. He goes, "Do you want me to fill it up?" And he was like on the phone, and he kind of ignored him. But that was Don Haskins asking, "Do you want me to fill it up?" I thought
that's really cool. I always like when movies do small cameos like that, even if you don't know who the guy is. Just the fact that they took the time to get the guy who and be like, "Hey, do you want to come on set and do this?" Yep. It's really neat. You have anything else about Glory Road?
Yeah, just one more quote or two. One more quote or two. I have a quote. When all the African Americans showed up, like the town hasn't really seen many black people, or so they treated it. And the one guy says, "Are you from Harlem?" And he says, "Do you think all black people are from Harlem?" He's like, "Yeah. What are you guys all from Mayberry?" Which is a Andy Griffith joke, if anyone gets that. I've got two notable actors from Glory Road. And one's Sam Jones III. He plays Pete in Smallville.
Oh, he went to prison.
Oh, did he? Yeah. I liked him in Smallville. That's why
I also liked him in Smallville. I only brought it up because I thought it was funny.
And the other is Alfonso Macaulay.
Okay.
He is in Fat Albert as...
The movie?
Yes, the Fat Albert, the movie. He plays Bucky. And then also, for anyone that's seen The Middle, he plays Axel's best buddy in college.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is him.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly who that is.
Which his name is Hutch in that show.
Yeah. God, I love that show.
Yeah. So I saw the two of them in that movie, and I was like, I like both of them.
I saw Fat Albert in theaters too. It's got Joel Madden from Good Charlotte in it. He's got a
Oh,
cameo in
nice.
one scene.
Nice. And everyone knows who plays Albert.
Yeah.
Keenan.
And we already talked about Kel, who is in
Yeah.
Like Mike.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, honestly, there might even be a basketball scene in Fat Albert.
Oh, most likely.
I'm pretty sure there's a scene where they play basketball.
Well, is that a basketball movie then?
Well, it's just since we're talking about it.
Well,
But,
since we're talking about it. Another little quote. He calls one of the guys Gilligan.
Oh, okay.
Or he tells him to go back to Gilligan's Island or something along the lines of that.
That's like the TV show Gilligan's Island.
Exactly.
Skipper.
Yeah. All right,
Let's-
that's it. That's it for Gilly Road.
Let's name all the Gilligan's Island characters we know.
Next movie. Next movie from 2002. Same year as Double Teamed. Like Mike, starring Lil Bow Wow. Do you know Lil Bow Wow's real name?
I do not.
Shad Moss. That's right.
Oh, wow.
S-H-A-D. Shad.
Well, this one was directed by John Schultz, and it also has Jonathan Lipnicki in it. I saw this in theaters as a kid. I think this is the first one on the list so far that I've seen in theaters.
Nice. You didn't go to see Hoovey?
I did not go to see Hoovey. I didn't even know it existed until
I don't
you
even know if
texted
it went
to
to
me.
theaters. Well, anyways, he plays this kid named Calvin Cambridge. He's in an orphanage, and he's just, getting by, doing all those things. And a thrift store donation box shows up, and he's found some old garbage shoes that have the initials MJ on them. He's like, okay, cool, I guess I'll have these shoes. He puts them on. Guess what? Boom. He's got the powers of Michael Jordan.
MJ Michael Jordan, like Space Jam. We talked about it.
That's right. Now, when you hear MJ, do you think Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson? Right off the bat. Like, someone's like, oh, do you like MJ? And not Spider-Man?
I honestly think of Michael Jordan more, probably.
That's fine. I was just curious. It was a simple question.
I'm just thinking of
Simple
MJ's.
answer.
I'm sorry.
We're sitting here like an hour later. There's Martha Jenkins.
She was in one episode of some TV show from 1952. It got canceled after 3 episodes.
So boom, he's MJ. And then he gets to play in the NBA on the fictional team, the Los Angeles Knights. He still has to do his homework and everything, which I think is funny.
I really like this movie. I think it's got a lot of heart to it, and the one player that he's roommated up with is, finally at the end becomes his adopted father, which I think is really cool. And he also adopts Jonathan Lipnicki. And if you've seen this recently, the kid who plays Calvin's bully in this movie is actually played by Jesse Plemons, who is becoming a critically acclaimed actor right now. Like, he was on Breaking Bad. He was recently in Jungle Cruise. He's just a fantastic actor, and he's been in a lot of stuff. And did you know that there's a sequel to Like Mike?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's called Like Mike 2 Streetball. It's from 2006, and it was directed by David Nelson.
No, that's not with Lil Bow Wow, though.
No, this one has Joshua Washington, and it's also got Brett Kelly in it, who Brett Kelly is the kid from Bad Santa, if you've seen it.
I think so.
He's also in Unaccompanied Minors, but yeah, Streetball, it's not as good as the first one, obviously. The second one, it's 3 guys, and they find it's a different kid, and he finds the same shoes. They are playing in a streetball tournament, and he wins the streetball tournament.
It's one of those things where it sounds like they could have just left it alone. Like,
yeah,
one and done.
It is good though.
They wanted some more money, so they made a second one.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's not a bad sequel either. Another character that's in the second one is Kel Mitchell, who is best known from Kenan and Kel, and he was in Good Burger.
Yep.
So he's in this movie.
Nice. Next movie we're going to talk about is sort of a basketball movie, Teen Wolf, 1985 with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, this was directed by Rod Daniel, and the writer is Jeff Loeb, who is a famous comic book writer known for writing a lot of famous comic books. He wrote Batman Long Halloween, which is really good. And he was in charge of the Marvel TV series for a while. But yeah, I think this does count as a basketball movie. The whole plot of the movie is that he's on the basketball team and he's not doing so good. And then, he starts turning into a werewolf when he's a teenager. And he's like, wow, the werewolf is crazy and I gotta hide this from everybody. But then people start to find out that he's a werewolf and they're like, hey, this is the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to this small town. And he's surfing on the top of cars and he's playing basketball and he's really, really good because he uses his wolf powers as, to play basketball and they win the big game at the end.
Nice. I have not seen it.
It's a really good movie. I think it holds up pretty well. There is a sequel called Teen Wolf 2, and it's got Jason Bateman in it, but I have not seen the sequel.
There's also a TV series. I have
Yeah.
not seen that either.
Which, you know what? I got season 1 of it, and it's
Nice.
an MTV, it's like an MTV romancy type of drama.
Yeah.
I watched the first 5 episodes, honestly was hooked. I was like, this is honestly a pretty good show.
They get you.
They
know
do.
How to make TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was playing lacrosse in that, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more animalistic.
This next movie, I think, is one of your favorite basketball movies. Is that right?
Are you talking about Basketball 316?
Yes, sir.
This is from 2014, directed by Ramas's Head. And this is probably the worst basketball movie on this list. This movie sucked. And you texted me and said, hey, look up Basketball 316. And I did. And then you were like, it's your job to watch that for the podcast. And I did. And then you were like, I was just joking. You don't have to. And I was like, no, I'm committed. And I watched the entire thing and it was bad. It was really
proud
bad.
of you for doing the research.
It's like these guys, they're playing basketball and they're like, yeah, we love Jesus and we love basketball. Then something happens and it's like cuts to 20 years later and it's the same guys and they don't look any different because they just filmed it a different day. But so why they do 20 years makes no sense. But the one guy's in like, oh, you were locked up in prison for 20 years. You just got out again. And he's like, I don't love nothing, especially Jesus and especially basketball. I'm going to go do crimes because that's what I love, doing crimes.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, you can't do crimes because you got to love the two things that we've talked about in this movie, Jesus and basketball. And so he's like talking to his girlfriend. He's like, my friend got out of prison and I got to get him on the team. And so they start playing basketball again. And then through basketball, he finds his faith in Jesus again.
I feel like that's where most people find their faith in Jesus. Basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah, either basketball or jail.
Yeah. And it didn't work for him in jail.
No,
It's
so
the opposite,
so basketball it is.
Yeah. It was just a bad movie because they didn't really do much basketball. And anytime they did do basketball, it was like 3 guys playing with like 2 people in the crowd.
Like, how many stars would you give this?
I'd give it 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you have a lot more to say about it then?
No, I have nothing else. I'm gonna just move on to something. I'm just moving on to something I actually really enjoyed. So I think remember last week I said I was gonna watch the movie Hoosiers.
Yes.
It's a famous basketball movie. I've never seen it. It's from 1986. It's directed by David Anspaugh, and it stars Gene Hackman. I loved this. I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night watching it because I knew I had to get it done before we film. Or just gotta say, it's a fantastic movie. The case of the movie says that it's the greatest basketball movie of all time, but I wouldn't go that far. Or it says it's the greatest sports movie of all time. I wouldn't go that far, but it is very, very good. I'd give it 5 stars out of 5. It was just fantastic storytelling, and the basketball scenes were really, really well paced, and they were intense, and it's just a really, really good movie. I'd highly recommend this to anyone, even though it's 40 years old at this point.
Yeah. Now, was that a quote of saying it's the best sports movie of all time? Was that a newer release or was that an older release?
No, it's a really old DVD because it's like all letterboxed. And
so, do you think back then it was the best movie of all time? Best sports movie?
I don't know. It's probably an older review even.
Sure, haven't seen a lot of old ones. I think this is our second oldest on this list. Third oldest. The one before it's Teen Wolf, and the one before that is from 1946.
Double Dribble. So I took some notes for this one.
Sure.
So the opening was really, really long. It was just a car driving into town and went for like 4 minutes.
Nice.
Gene Hackman, dude is just a phenomenal actor. He's really, really good in this. Couldn't help but notice he looks a lot like Lex Luthor. So the coach versus scene I thought was just incredible. Like there's a scene where the old coach is like talking to the team, and then Gene Hackman comes in and he's like, so listen, I'm the new coach. You need to get the hell out of here because I don't want you working with my team anymore. I'm firing you. And the old coach is like screaming at him and just like just super intense between them. And then as he storms off, he throws the basketball at him and it bounces and Gene Hackman catches it perfectly and goes, "Thank you." And I just like it was just one take and I was like, that is a great scene. There's also a scene with the where he has all the students there together, all the basketball team, and he's like giving a rousing speech to them, and two of them of the students are like talking and joking, and he's like, if you don't want to listen to me, then you can just get out of here. And so they end up leaving. And I thought that was a great scene. But as the one kid left, he goes, "I ain't a gizzard," and then walked out of there. And then I wrote later on, a couple scenes later, Gizzard Boy returns. He returns with his head down in shame and he goes, "I'm sorry, coach. You're the boss. I'm going to listen to you." And he joins the team again and becomes great.
Nice.
Then there's a scene with a kid on on a dirt court, like he's playing just in the middle of nowhere, and Gene Hackman's scouting him, and the dude is just sinking buckets. I mean, he sinks dozens of buckets in a row without a miss. I lost count after like 25 buckets.
Oh wow.
You're like, yeah, dude, he just kept going and going and going.
Nice.
I thought that was just a fantastic movie though.
Yeah, well, clearly you got the notes to show for it.
Yeah. I would recommend this even if you're not doing a podcast about basketball movies, you should go check this out.
Very good.
You'll have to watch it for when we do round 2 of this.
Sure.
So moving on, I got one last basketball movie to tell you about. And I really wanted you to be able to watch this one for this episode, but I looked it up. It's not streaming anywhere. Like you'd have to pay for it or rent it.
Sure.
This is Uncle Drew from 2018, directed by Charles Stone III. I absolutely love this movie. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and it was a somewhat bad experience in the theater because this kid in front of us kept screaming the whole time. But it was literally right in the seat in front of us. He just kept screaming. Besides that, the movie is hilarious. I don't know why, because I don't think it's that great of a movie, but I love it. I love it so much. I actually watched it again for this podcast, and it was the 6th time I've seen this.
Nice. And it's starring Kyrie Irving, and he's got some makeup and effects on to make him look old, isn't that right?
Yep, he plays Uncle Drew. Lil Rel is in it, and Shaq plays one of the other basketball players.
Nice.
And I think all the basketball players or the old guys are basketball players in real life. Like, is Nate Robinson a basketball
Nate
player?
Robinson's in it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, he plays my favorite character, Boots.
Nice.
Which so let me run through the characters for you really quick because you haven't seen this. So Uncle Drew, he was the star player in the Rucker Classic, which is a streetball tournament, and his team was so good. He was the best player. He should have gone pro. They even say that he was the outline of the NBA logo. They just shaved off his afro. Yeah, so he's just like the best. But he had a falling out with his teammates because he slept with one of their girls, and so their team broke up. But they have Lights, who Lights is blind, but he puts on his basketball goggles and he can see, and he can just always shoot. Nice. And the Preach, who is the preacher, he is a really tall basketball player who just loves him some Jesus. They got Big Fella, who's Shaq, and he's really big. And then they got Boots, my favorite character, who's named after the Dora character. But he wears the same pair of Converse for every single time he plays basketball. And when they're doing their like team recruitment scene, they go to get him and they meet his granddaughter. And she's like, "Oh, my uncle or my grandpa Boots, he hasn't walked in 30 years. He's just sitting in a wheelchair and he can't talk anymore and all this." And so Uncle Drew like wheels him out in the middle of the basketball court in his wheelchair. And he goes, "Boots, I got something for you." And he takes his old Converse out of his like bag and gives them to him. And he puts them on, and Boots gets out of the wheelchair and shakes off his feet. Like he hasn't walked, in a while, shakes off his feet, and he takes the basketball and he goes and does a dunk.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I love this movie. It's so good. There's a scene, it's kind of reminiscent of Coming to America, in that where Eddie Murphy goes to the barbershop and they're like all the old guys are cameos, like Eddie Murphy plays another one, Arsenio plays another one.
Right.
Well, in this movie, the two old guys are Mike Epps and it's Mike Epps and JB Smoove from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Nice. I like both of them a lot.
I really do too. And the bad guy of the movie who plays Mookie is Nick Kroll.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a very good movie, and also Tiffany Haddish is in it. I really like
Nice.
her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I would say it was in my top 10 movies of 2018 list.
Who else has a top 10 2018 list?
Well, on YouTube, I would do my top 10 favorite movies of each year that I've
Okay.
seen. So,
I suppose if you put the list together back then, if you just randomly right now, you're like, top.
my top 10 favorite movies of that year.
You have anything else to say about Uncle Drew?
I do not. Besides, you
Yeah.
should watch it. I'll lend you the Blu-ray sometime.
Okay, sounds good. Me or the listeners?
No, you.
I'm just kidding. Right now, we have just a few other honorable mentions. Didn't make the cut. We'll just touch on them. Maybe we'll cover them in part 2, as you say there will be. We'll just rapid fire back and forth. First one's Full Court Miracle, 2003, directed by Stuart Gilliard. Do you have anything cool about that one quick?
It's a Jewish Hanukkah movie. I watched this for our Christmas special on YouTube a year ago. We always do a Hanukkah episode as well, and it's not great, but it's a Disney Channel original movie, just like Double Teamed.
Sure.
Next up, there's High School Musical, another Disney Channel original movie. That's from 2006, directed by Kenny Ortega. Everybody knows High School Musical. Get your head in the game. Troy Baker. He's the main character played by Zac Efron. He's in love with Vanessa Hudgens' character, who's Gabriella. And yeah, they do some singing, and Corbin Blue is in it. And the whole thing is like he's the star of the basketball team, but he wants to sing in the musical, and at the end he's got to make the choice of like, do I play in the big game or do I go sing my heart out?
I'll be honest, I've not seen it.
I really like it.
Next up, The Luck of the Irish, 2001, directed by Paul Hone.
Yeah, this is another Disney Channel original movie, actually. It's about a kid who's on the basketball team, and then he starts to shrink instead of grow when he starts to hit puberty, and he's like, why am I not growing? I'm shrinking. And he keeps shrinking and shrinking, and his ears start getting pointed, and it turns out that his family is a group of leprechauns.
Oh,
And
man.
there's like a rainbow nearby, and they need to get the gold at the end of the rainbow, otherwise he won't stop shrinking.
It sounds fun.
It's all right, yeah. So next up, from 2020, this is The Way Back, directed by Gavin O'Connor, and this movie is fantastic. A 5-star movie. It's starring Ben Affleck, and this movie came out right during COVID, so I think it kind of went under the radar a little bit. But it's a fantastic movie, and it was kind of a redemption story for Ben Affleck, who was having a lot of troubles in his personal life with like alcohol and stuff. And this movie sees him playing a alcoholic who was a star basketball player, and he fell off the wagon, and he's back in his hometown, and he becomes the head coach of the local basketball team. And it's just a great movie.
Nice. I'll be sure to watch it.
Yeah,
Now there's Thunderstruck from 2012, directed by John Whitesell.
this one's kind of like Mike. It's about a kid who ends up swapping like powers with I can't remember the basketball player who's in it, but he ends up swapping powers with a basketball player. I can look it up really quick. I want to get it right. He ends up swapping powers with Kevin Durant, and so Kevin Durant like has no talent anymore, and this young kid has all the talent. So it's kind of like Space Jam mixed with like Mike a little bit, because it's the kid who's good at basketball, but he took the powers kind of like it even has a magic ball, because like Space Jam, the guys lose their talent through the ball, and it's the same thing in Thunderstruck, where a ball gets hit by lightning and then Kevin Durant touches it and he can't play basketball anymore. It wasn't very good. And then next up, this is a secret movie I hid from you, from 1997, directed by Les Mayfield. Have you ever seen Flubber?
Yes.
With Robin Williams?
Yes.
Does this count as a basketball movie?
I haven't seen it in forever, so I don't remember.
Because I thought about it, I was like, it's not necessarily about basketball, but he creates Flubber, the liquid rubber that he creates, and he puts it on the basketball team's like shoes and stuff, and they bounce all around the place, and like basketball is a big part of that movie.
True.
Even though it's not technically about it. So it's a honorable mention.
Sure. We'll put it there. And last thing we're going to touch on is Semi-Pro from 2008, directed by Kent Alterman. It's got Will Ferrell, Woody Harrelson, and Andre Benjamin, better known as Andre 3000 from Outcast.
Yeah, this is a really good movie. I wouldn't say it's really good. It probably has a really low rate on Rotten Tomatoes, like most comedies like this do. But I think it's absolutely hilarious, and it's Will Ferrell, and I think he's just great. And it's really stupid and dumb, and it's him playing basketball, and it's like he made all his money doing some weird thing, and then he's so rich that he made like a random pop single or something, and he made a lot of money, and he ended up buying a shitty basketball team, and then he became the star player of the basketball team, and he's like, I own this team, you all pass to me and I'm gonna shoot every time, and like it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's got a 22%.
Yeah, I would say it's worth watching.
Is the end of the basketball movies.
Yeah, it
for this
wraps up hoops
episode.
and hops.
All right, well, that was a good topic.
I agree.
I hope the listeners like basketball.
I think a lot of people do.
Should we move right on to Wheel of
Versus that,
Yes, that. One of our favorite parts of the podcast.
it's the best.
It's the best. We're going to do a little
basketball.
different this time because it's basketball. So it's only fitting that we do a bracket, and it's basketball teams versus basketball teams.
Yep, it's an 8-seed bracket. Do you want me to read the teams out for you?
It's an elimination style.
Yeah, single elimination. I have the Beavers from Teen Wolf, Toon Squad from Space Jam, Timberwolves from Airbud, and the Harlem Buckets from Uncle Drew.
I've got Clean Sweep from Ernest, the Miners from Glare Road, the Knights from Like Mike, and Sea Kings from Double Teamed.
So with how this seeded out, first round of the first bracket is Sea Kings versus the Beavers.
They're both high school basketball teams, so that equals the playing field just a little bit right there.
I haven't seen Double Teamed. Is it just two twin sisters playing basketball?
So it's the two twin sisters, which are very tall. The rest of the team are pretty average height for the age group, which I think they might be seniors, but they all seem like 5'8" to 5'10", and then these two girls are like 6'1". So they're definitely a good team. They double team everyone pretty much.
Okay.
And they got this twin thing going on. And then there's another really good player on the team.
Okay, because I was gonna say like Teen Wolf. I mean, he's a wolf. So
well, but that's the thing. So say one's driving down the court, and so that's the thing. So the twins, that's two. So pass it off, pass it back, shoot. Okay. Is the wolf like fast enough to like just get all over the place?
I mean, yeah, he can run as fast as a dog, and he can jump from like one end of the court to the other and do a slam dunk.
Okay, I think I'll give it to Teen Wolf. Yeah, the Beavers take this.
I have a question now, since we're doing a bracket like this. What happens if two people, like the same person, wins two brackets?
Super winner, I guess.
I only bring it up because the next bracket is the Knights versus the Toon Squad. Defend your Knights. Go.
All NBA stars, plus a kid that plays like Michael Jordan.
Yes.
But I feel like it's a little more than just Michael Jordan. Like, there's also a movie aspect to it, so he can jump a little further or higher than Michael Jordan could, I feel like. Like, they definitely played it up as, like, holy cow, this kid is insane. Yeah,
he does a front flip at one point to do a basket. And it's like, I don't remember seeing Michael Jordan do that.
No. Well, and that's the thing about the Toon Squad, though. I don't think jumping and stepping off of other players should be legal in this bracket.
But technically it is, because they're the Looney Tunes. They remember the part where they drive a moped onto the court and they're like, delivery, and they just drop the basketball in the bucket. There's also another part where the one guy, he takes the basketball and he stands there and goes like this through the bucket a bunch of times, where he's like dunking it and then catching it and then dunking it again and just racking up points really fast.
Yeah.
This is why Toon Squad was my first pick, because I was like, I think they can win no matter what.
All right, I guess you do get it. And so in this case,
when
you won both brackets, you basically get to choose who moves on.
Okay.
You don't have to choose that until you see who it's against. You know?
Yeah, I won't choose until the next bracket.
So next face off,
we have the Miners versus the Timberwolves. I have just a regular high school team who's not very good because the star player is a bully, and then they have a dog who can hit the basketball with his nose and bounce it and shoot a basket. So
You lost steam there. Yeah, and my team, like I
so
said, they went, I believe, 25-1 and won the championship.
yeah.
Great team. Great team.
The Timberwolves don't stand out as a great team. They lack cohesiveness as a team. They don't work great together. They don't gel. They don't remember their plays. They're not good at passing. Some of them aren't good at shooting. But the dog, just brings their spirits right up and they can win the game at the end, even though they're down by a lot. Because the other team's like, can this dog even play? And the ref's like, I've checked the rule book 3 times. The dog, there's no rules. All right.
I feel like they could win against another high school team, but against a very good college team, I'm sorry, but I think the Miners get this.
I think you're taking this.
Okay.
So the last matchup of round 1 of the bracket, we got Clean Sweep versus Harlem Buckets.
And I think so. I chose Clean Sweep as my first pick because Ernest with those super shoes, could probably beat Toon Squad, honestly. Or that'd be a crazy matchup. It would have been because he can jump the hole. He can do anything. He can fly.
Mm-hmm.
He can move faster than Edward Cullen. He can. He can do anything. And I'll be honest, that's one thing that lost it for me. I'm just like, the probability of this happening is so garbage.
Because the shoes.
Yeah. When I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So I don't know how much you want to fight for that, but I'm pretty sure Clean Sweep would do a win on this guy.
So the Harlem Buckets, they were the best streetball team in the 60s, and they didn't play for, years and years, 50 years or whatever, and they're all very old, but they all got this one thing that they have that makes them the best team out there in streetball. Like Boots has his boots, Preach has a cross, Big Fella has a trophy, Lights has his goggles, Uncle Drew has his ball and his van and stuff, and they're a fantastic team. When Boots gets his boots on, man, he is just fantastic.
But is he as good as Ernest? Because Ernest took on an NBA team by himself. Everyone else just stood around.
I don't know. I think this is a toss-up, but I'll give it to Ernest because he's pretty. His shoes have the talent, though. He's talentless.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, I think Ernest would take it.
Okay. Now, what's the next line of the bracket?
In round 2, I have the Beavers versus Toon Squad. I think I'm gonna advance Toon Squad forward because I think they would win against the Wolf.
I agree.
And then you got the Miners versus Clean Sweep.
I think we're gonna see Clean Sweep at Toon Squad for the championship.
You think Clean Sweep can beat the Miners?
Anyone can. Ernest can beat anybody. Those shoes are just literally ridiculous. I'll be honest.
All right, and in the finals, we got Toon Squad versus Clean Sweep. I think you're gonna have to defend this a little bit because I think Toon Squad could win.
Well, Ernest, he can literally be on one side of the court, pass it to himself, the whole other side of the court, and then do that 20 times and literally just run in circles around you. And I know you have Tasmanian Devil.
Okay.
But
what
he's
about
crazy.
In interception by the Roadrunner?
Well, then Ernest will just block your shot or your next pass.
I think the Looney Tunes could take this because Ernest is too clumsy, I think. And while his movie is very cartoonish, Looney Tunes are real cartoons.
He was never clumsy playing though. He was really good.
He's a little bit clumsy.
He'd rack up that score. He'd just
thinking of all the things because the Looney Tunes, they show up and they do the bit where they're doing the Pulp Fiction and they shoot out they shoot stuff out the lights and then they stand there and put their sunglasses on. Ernest will be like, what the hell is going on? And then they'd be like, dunk, dunk, dunk. They got the part where Michael Jordan can reach his arm and he's like, "Rah," and reaches the bucket.
Yeah, I guess.
Because the Toon Squad even has Michael Jordan on it.
That is true. I'm going to give it to Michael Jordan. The Toons are there to win along with Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan wins.
Hey, I got the title back.
2 and 3. Yeah, since you won that, you are 2 and I am 3.
Yes, I'm coming back, baby.
Yeah,
I knew when I chose the Toon Squad, I was like, I don't see how they can be beat.
Good first pick. Congratulations.
We coin flipped for it. That was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, I like basketball. Every time every time my wife walks in there, she's like, another basketball movie, and I was like, it's research.
Doing research, honey.
I asked her, I was like, do you want to watch a basketball movie? She looked at me and she went, no. Okay.
Nothing but nets. Alternatively, that's a good title name for the episode. Nothing but nets.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like this. I had a lot of fun watching a lot of these basketball movies again. I watched a couple sillier ones than you did.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't watch anything too serious, but yeah, I really like this.
And now, do you want to give it our email again?
You can reach the show at ourdadsourbrothers@gmail.com. Send us any questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like. If it's good enough, we'll read you out on the podcast.
And you can check out some of our personal pages. We've got some Instagrams. I actually spelled one wrong last time I noticed. It's Halomoto, Hallomoto.
Oh, that's up close and personal.
Yeah. And then there's also One Brick Wall at a Time, and then Nathan Tracy. And then also Our Dads Are Brothers.
I'm just at BatTracy01 on Instagram and Twitter and everything. And then I'm at BatLovesMovies on TikTok. And you can check out my YouTube at Punk Rock Blues. I do movie stuff over there as well.
What's the next episode about?
We are going to be covering the Bad Girls Club. This is a topic that was recommended to us by a listener where we talk about like female villains in movies.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I agree.
All right, until next time, I'm Nathan Tracy.
And I'm Bat Tracy. And our dads are brothers.
That they are.
It was really fun.
Yeah, we should do it again sometime.
We should. Maybe weekly?
Yeah, probably.
We could do a podcast.
That'd be something.
We just need a good name.